Are you a recent international graduate in Canada and ready to apply for postgraduate work permit in 2025? If the answer is yes, you come to the right place. Today I'll be showing you how to apply for postgraduate work permit in 2025. Hi everyone, welcome to my YouTube channel. I am Sajan, and today I'll be guiding you step by step on how to apply for postgraduate work permit in 2025 with a special focus on IELTS. So let's get started with the video. First things first, before you dive into your PGWP application, you'll need to gather all the required documents. Let's go through them one by one. Here's what you'll need. IELTS General. You'll need to submit your IELTS General Training results. Make sure it's the general test, not the academic one. And then comes Course Completion Certificate. This certificate proves that you successfully completed your study program in Canada. Make sure it's signed and dated by the appropriate authorities at your institution. And then comes official or unofficial transcript. You can submit either official or unofficial transcript from your Canadian institution, but that must emphasize that you have graduated. However, official transcripts are preferred as they provide verified proof of your academic progress. And then you'll need a photo that's 35-45 mm, a recent passport size photo. For your application, make sure the photo meets the specific size requirements, that is 35 by 45 mm. If you're taking a photo at home, the photo must be in white background, must not have shadows. And further instruction, I've attached a link. And then comes Adobe Acrobat application. So the application form is only editable in Adobe Acrobat, so download and install it before you begin to avoid any distraction during the process. And finally comes the passport. Finally, you'll need a scanned copy of your passport. I would prefer you to scan all the stamp pages and visa. Along with that, you'll need the passport to enter the date of your entry in Canada and other countries if you are bad at keeping dates. Okay, now that you know what documents you need, let's move on to the next step, the application procedure. To apply for your PGWP, you'll be using the IRCC portal. This is where all your documents will be submitted and your application will be processed. Since you're applying for PGWP, you must have the GCK account, which you use to get your study permit. So let's log into the GCK account and I'll show you how to go from there. So let's log into the GCK account. After you're done logging to your GCK account, you'll see start an application. Just click onto that, and then there comes the any reference code if you have. So I'll just skip that part and go to visitor visa, student or work permit. Click on that. There are some questionnaires you need to answer. I want to work here. And how long are you going to stay here? So it's going to be more than 6 months. And then to select the code, you have to select your country. And then it says your current country or territory of residence, that is Canada. And do you have family members who is a Canadian citizen or permanent resident? I don't. And just choose your date of birth. Move on to the next part. And if you have any permanent resident of United States, I don't, so just no. Current immigration, I am a student. And you have to do you plan to work on campus? No, I don't. Are you a full-time student? Since I've just graduated, I'm not full-time student now. I recently graduated from, yes. And there comes your co-op. I'll just choose no and then move on. So have you been told by IRCC that you're approved for principal PR? No, I have not approved as PR. Just this is just no. Everything is no here. Sorry, I just missed that. And moving forward, do you have official letter from your school that confirms you have completed your study program? Yes, I do. Then move forward. Marital status, you just select what you are. And this is the state you will be choosing to stay after your PGWP. And here you go. Now you have two options. You have temporary resident visa and postgraduate work permit in Canada. So if your PGWP has expired and then you tend to extend the visa, then you can just choose temporary resident visa. For now, I'm just choosing postgraduate work permit in Canada. And there's some instruction. Just move ahead. And it says find out if you're eligible to apply. Do you have official letter from your school? Yes, I do. That the course has been completed. And have you had a medical exam? No, I don't. So I'll choose no and move on. It says if you have intention to work on any of the following jobs, you have to do the medical check. Since I'm not working there, so I'll just say no and move on. And do you want to work one of the following? Just no and move on. Do you want to submit an application for a family member? If you're married, this option pops up. I just go no and then move on. Are you giving someone access to your application? Since I'm doing it by myself, just no and move on. Since I've given fingerprints and photo, I say yes and move on. There are fees associated with the application. Who is paying your fees? You or just paying? Someone is paying for your fees. I'll be paying for my fees and move on. So it says, are you be able to make a digital copy of your documents with a scanner or camera? Yes, we can do that and move on. Will you be paying your application fees online? Yes, I do. So it lets you review all your answers, go one by one. Once you think that the answers are correct, you can move on. Otherwise, you just can go edit and update information at any point of time. So I'll just move forward, continue. And it has some instruction. So what are the steps you must follow? Step 1, use your account. And step 2, save your application. And then upload your documents. And finally, pay your fees. So if any point of stage of time you want to quit and do it later, you can do that. It is going to be saved and you can access from that page. Okay, let's move ahead, and we should have a page where we'll have to upload all the documents. So the first and foremost, application form. So this is the form that I was talking about. So this is the form you have to fill up, and that can only be done with the use of Adobe Acrobat. I'll come to that later, and I'll show you what are the supporting documents you need to upload. So the first one is education transcript, that is official or unofficial transcript that must mention that you have just graduated. And then comes the completion letter, and then comes the passport. I strongly suggest you scan all the pages of your passport that has stamps and the visas. And then comes the digital photo. If you have no idea about how to do the digital photo, we can do one more video, or you can drop a comment on my video so I can help you out. And there comes the optional documents. You have client information. Here is where you will be uploading your IELTS results. Okay, So I suggest you, if you have any other supporting documents, you just make a PDF of all the documents and then upload it here. Okay. So for now, let's say I uploaded everything. I'll take you to the main application form. To download that, you can just click it here and it says download the form. If you click here, it's going to download the form. It says IMM 5710E and just save it to your drive. If you try to open it without anything, it's just gonna display please wait. So let's skip and I'll show you how to fill up the form. You go to Adobe or you just open with Adobe Acrobat. Okay, I'll just open the file with Adobe Acrobat. So here, once you have filled in all the information, you have to validate the form. That's going to generate a QR like page at the bottom of the PDF file. You have to upload that one. Okay, so let's just go with the UCI. To find where your UCI is, you just have to log into your GCK account. And in your previous application, you can see your unique identification code. Okay. And then the service you want in English, and what are you applying for. If you're applying for PGWP, you just can select apply for work permit, and then comes your full name. Just fill up your full name, given names, and the family name. If you have used any other name, in my case I have no any other name, so I just click no. Once you click no, it's gonna black out the points where you don't need to fill up. Just select your male and then the date of birth and the place of birth. It should be exactly on how it is on your passport. And then comes the country. You just select your country. And then comes the citizenship. Select your country. And the country of your residence. So here you have to select Canada. The status is student, and you have to type the date when you landed in Canada and how long your study permit is valid for. And then there comes previous countries or territory of residence. So in the last 5 years, if you have lived on any other countries, then you have to click in as and then fill up where you've lived. Otherwise, if that case is no, you can see everything is blacked out. You don't have to fill in anything here. Just fill up the marital status and the date of your marriage. You have to fill it up here. And you have to provide the name of your current spouse, given name, and the family names. This space is just for the official use. And it says if you are married or common law relationship, is your spouse or common law partner or Canadian citizen or permanent residence. In that case, this is no. And there comes the applicant name. Now further moving on, it says personal details continued. Have you previously been married? So if you are married more than once, you have to select as. If you're only married once or never married, just select no, and then you can see the blacked out spaces. The native tongue, I would select my native tongue. And are you able to communicate in English or French? I just select English. And have you even taken test for French or English? I've just taken the test for English. I select S, and you have to fill in the passport details. So pick up your passport and just type your passport number, the country of territory of your passport issued, and then the issue date, expiry date. So it says If your password is issued by Taiwan, that is just no. You cannot click it because I think this is not valid for you. Just blacked out. You can see that. You cannot type in, so just leave it there. Do you have any national identity documents? If you have, you can fill in your document identity. I don't have, so I just leave it as no. So use a USPR card. I don't have it, so this is not required. Contact information. So here you have to type in your current address. Just moving ahead, just type your current address, street number, and street name, city, and the country, and the province, and the postal code, and the residential address. If you have the same residential address as a mailing address, you can select as, and then you don't have to fill it in this part. Now I'll select my telephone number and type my telephone number here. And if you have alternate telephone number, you can select, otherwise just leave it empty. I have no fax number, so I'll just leave it empty. Just type in your email and then move on to the next part. So in the third page, it says coming into Canada. Date and place of your original entry to Canada. So this is the date that you landed on Canada, and the place. I was in Toronto Pearson Airport, so I'll just go Toronto Pearson Airport. The purpose of coming to Canada is just study, and date and place of your most recent entry to Canada. If you have left the country and came back to Canada, you have to select the most recent date and the place of entry into Canada. So I have nothing else, and let's move on to details of intended work in Canada. What type of work permit are you applying for? So I am applying for postgraduate work permit, and it says details of my prospective employer. Since I have no employer and I'm just looking for postgraduate open work permit, so I'll leave this empty. So you can just skip from 2 to 8. Have you been issued a certificate under the provincial PNP? If you have PNP certificate, you can select yes, otherwise just select no. And then moving on to education. Have you had any post-secondary education, including university, college, or apprentice training? Select as, and you can just give your college information, the field and level of study. I studied big data, postgraduate on big data. And then comes the school name. Go with Lambton College. And the dates when you started. So I started from 2023 May. So that would be 5. And I recently graduated in 2025 January. And the location, that is Mississauga. And the country of territory, that is just Canada. I think you got this. And the employment. Here says the employment details. In the past 10 years, if you have held any government position, you have to include that. So I would suggest you go with 1 or 2 employment you had in Canada. So you have 3 options to fill in your employment. You just can go with 2 or 3 as much as you can. I'll just leave it to you. And then comes background information. Within past 2 years, have you or your family member ever had tuberculosis, I'll just select no. Do you have any physical or mental disorder? Just no. And most of the answers here are no. But have you previously applied to enter or remain in Canada? I had applied for a student permit, so I would say yes, and then describe the situation that I have applied and and approved. Got for study permit in 2023 April, and then you can further elaborate on the situation, how you got to Canada. I'll just leave it there. Have you ever been arrested, have been charged with criminal offense? Obviously no. And then coming to background information, it says, did you serve on any military? That's just not applicable to me. Have you ever been a member or associated with political party? Just no. Have you witnessed and participated in ill treatment of prisoners? Just no. And there comes the signature part. The signature part, you have to consent the IRCC rules and you have to sign. I'll just sign with my name and the date. Today's date would be 2025, January 10 or 11, I guess. And once you validate the form, that is gonna look like this. The next page is gonna pop up like this. Once you get this barcode, you have to go ahead, save as a new file, and then you're ready to upload. So here, now I'll go back. Once you fill up all the application, you have to upload the files, and then you have to go to payment. Once you upload all the documents, then you have to declare again and sign your electronic sign, and then comes the payment. Once the payment is done, check your application status. That's gonna show you the submission confirmation. Once you receive the submission confirmation, you can start working right away. Within 24 hours, you're expected to receive one more message from IRCC that you can show to your employer that you are now on applied status and worked on Canada. Thank you for watching until the end. If you have any questions, if you want to know more about PGWP application in 2025, you can reach me out on my social handles, or you can leave a comment. I'll come up with the solution here. Thank you for watching.